Today on Dr. Phil, have you tried to lose weight and failed?
Ball dropped.
Did you two miss your connecting flight to the show?
We saw a Spanx store, Panda Express, and we saw a bar, and that's a big girl trifecta.
Ready for your old body back?
I feel like people think, what happened to that girl who used to be so beautiful?
Don't miss this show.
Do you believe you can change this? Because you can. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Dr. Phil.
I need help.
Losing weight.
I have tried diets after diet. I am fed up and I am desperate for your help.
Please, Dr. Phil, help me get rid of my jiggle so I can sizzle.
Woo! I'm ready to marry my best friend, but I need your help to lose this weight. Please help me lose this weight. Can you help me?
I need help.
Oh, can you help me?
Help me, Dr. Phil.
Please help me.
Help me, help me, help me, Dr. Phil.
Are you just like them? Yes. If so, you are not alone. But let me tell you, today is a changing day in your life because all that's going to stop right here, right now. Today, we have filled our audience in the studio with people just like you at home, all combined. Everybody here in the audience has tried and failed a staggering 2,000 diets. And my first guests are no different. Teachers Candy and Lindsay say their friendship began when they met at their school's Friday treat day. And they've been packing on the pounds ever since.
I can explain my weight problem in 3 words. I am fat. How many calories do you think this is?
It is good. It is fattening.
I met Lindsay 3 years ago at the school we teach at.
We have a Friday tradition at school. People sign up to bring treats for everyone to share. We always joke around at school, you know, we don't need to take sick days. We need to take fat days. Sorry, can't come to school today.
As my pants won't
will not button.
When we go out to a restaurant, magically the glass of wine sometimes turns into
A very sugary margarita.
Oh, yum! Yay! Ooh. I could bathe in that. And I am a champ at losing weight, but I am a world-class record-holding champ at gaining it all back. I could just take the bread and go ahead and put it directly on my ass.
We're not friends that go running together unless it's a beer run. And then I'm your girl.
We're gonna have the appetizer combo with the zucchini and the mozzarella and the calamari.
Oh,
Bring you a side of our homemade ranch as well.
oh, perfect. We never turn down ranch.
Our friendship isn't based on food. It's just something we share, and the weight loss struggle is something we both share too.
It's not the food that we share, because I don't share. Hashtag big girl problems.
Let me get this right. Did you two miss your connecting flight to the show because you were drinking beer and eating at Panda Express at the airport?
Ball dropped. We saw a Spanx store. We had to go in there. We saw Panda Express, and we saw a bar, and that's like the big girl trifecta. Hashtag big girl problems.
Oh my God!
It's all of them right there.
Have I got an uphill battle here?
Yeah.
Okay, so what the hell is Fat Girl Day?
When you have to call into work and call a we're both teachers, so we have to call a substitute because we can't get our pants to button.
We're kidding. We don't want a button to fly off and give a kindergartner a concussion or anything. So.
What is Treat Friday? You go to school
The
and...
devil is what Treat Friday is.
Yeah. We're in the South, so everybody will bring casseroles and
They try to outcook each other.
They try to outcook each other.
It's a big deal.
That delicious sourdough bread that Jean makes.
And the ginger snap cookies that Sissy makes. Oh my God.
We love them too much. You can see them here, here, and here.
And here.
I was listening to your logic. You say every Monday one of you stops and picks up a sugary Starbucks type drink or breakfast at Chick-fil-A for yourself and the other person. So what do you mean you restart every Friday? On Monday, one of you picks up this stuff before you even get there.
We do well till 7:30 a.m. We do start.
That whole hour from 6:30 to 7:30 really goes great.
It does. And we are, pumped during that 1 hour.
Do you work out?
Not regularly.
Not regularly.
Which one of you sent us a picture of your gym?
That was me.
Now, tell me the truth. How did that towel get there?
My husband put it there so I would look like I actually used it. He loves me so much. He probably did.
Oh, my God. Do you work out?
Not there, no.
Do you work out anywhere?
No.
Do you work out?
Sporadically. The answer is no. We did run in the airport, though.
How many gates can we run before we throw up?
Guys, we can run 4 gates.
What's the longest period of time you have ever had any discipline with regard to weight control?
2 weeks.
I lost 40 pounds last year, so I had discipline with what I was eating, but not with working out. Or, I'll work out like a maniac and eat like a pig. I never do the both at the same time.
Me too.
Which would probably be a really good idea from that look on your face.
Which is the key.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and guess that's what you want me to do.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You two didn't come all the way from South Carolina to tell me you were overweight. Both of you are eyes wide open about how this happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is I do have exactly what you're looking for. But you need to understand there's something different. You get involved with me, I will haunt you till the end of the earth.
We've heard.
Sphincter clenched.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
Just
Okay. All right.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you've heard the old saying, hindsight is 20/20,
Yeah.
right? Well, Lindsay and Candy have perfectly clear vision on how they got where they are today. But I want them, you in the audience and you sitting at home, to turn that 20/20 hindsight forward to see with perfect clarity where you want to go when it comes to your weight. And I've spent a decade doing research, and for the first time in 10 years, I've written a book about weight loss. Now, why did it take me so long to write my second weight loss book? Because I finally have something new to say, and it's called the 20/20 diet. All right? What's that mean, and how is it going to change your life? Well, I'm going to tell you after the break.
In my 20s, I actually was so obsessed with weight that I developed an eating disorder that really warped my relationship with food.
My weight issues didn't start until college. Some of my sorority sisters would talk about my weight. The girls actually had a Facebook group where they would post negative things about my body that was really hurtful to me.
And my weight, 204. I about peed my pants when I saw that on the scale.
I weigh, drumroll please, 242 pounds. So got your feet there, sister.
I am my own worst critic. I'll say, oh my gosh, your boobs are like basketballs, or your ass is the size of Montana. This is the one thing that I have not conquered, and I'm ready to do it with Dr. Phil's help.
Now, when I did this book, The 20/20 Diet, we conducted a national survey as part of the book. We did it on our own and discovered that nearly half of those people that lose weight gain 100% of the weight right back. That needs to stop today. Now, before the break, I told you I've written a book called The 20/20 Diet. Turn your weight loss vision into a reality. 20 key foods to help you succeed where other diets fail. I wanted to give a clear vision and a doable plan on how to get you what you want. It's full of emerging research and theories designed to get you where you really need to go. Here's what the 2020 diet is going to do. I want to give you 20 foods for 20 days that are going to do something that's going to increase your body's thermogenesis. There's really emerging research that says you can eat these foods that increase your burn rate, that can help you feel fuller when you eat, and that have a time release effect. I looked at your excuses. We found that nearly 40% of the people said that lack of willpower is the top reason they fail. You say, ice cream is calling your name from the freezer. You can hear it. You can hear it calling your name, right? So that means if I'm going to do something that works, I've got to figure a way to deal with the cravings. You also said you hate dieting because you get bored.
Yeah.
Okay? So when I look at the rebellion triggers, why people rebel against diet, boredom is a huge one. Temptations, a huge one. And you do that. You know, we've had fun here, but the truth is both of you know you hide behind humor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, these friends not only share a love of Chick-fil-A and strong margaritas, they also share a much deeper connection. And it's the reason behind all the humor and laughter.
I experienced my first diet when I was 10 years old. I can just remember my mom always saying, you know, you're such a pretty girl, but if you would just lose 5 pounds, you would be beautiful. In my 20s, I actually was so obsessed with weight that I developed an eating disorder that really warped my relationship with food. I'm tired of weight and body image even being an issue. I do use humor to cover things up and to make myself feel better and make it seem like it's not that big of a deal.
My weight issues didn't start until college. Instead of packing on the freshman 15, it was like the freshman 50. Some of my sorority sisters would talk about my weight. The girls actually had a Facebook group about me where they would post negative things about my body. I would see a sketch of me with a arrow pointing to my spare tire that was really hurtful to me. After college, I gained 70 pounds, and now I'm up 90. It feels like I'm in a body that's not mine. If you had told me you're going to be on Dr. Phill talking about how much weight you need to lose, I would say, you're crazy, I'm hot. And now I'm saying, Dr. Phill, help, I'm not.
People have said things in both of y'all's past that hurt you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I make cards, just kind of summary cards to be sure there's things I don't forget. They're called my blue cards. And they're cleverly called that because they're blue. And this is yours. And I wrote down Facebook group dedicated to making fun of me. And what did I write down next to it?
Bitches.
Bitches. But you know what you did? You took over for them. You started repeating it in your mind. They were making fun of you, and you started making fun of you. And you never quit. And you started making fun of you, and you never quit. And you laugh. So much comedy comes from pain.
Amen.
And there's power in language. And the things you guys say to yourselves is important because there is such a connection between self-image and body image. And when your body image goes down, it pulls your self-image with it. It shouldn't be that way. You're not a worse person because your body image is not exactly like you want it to be. It shouldn't go together, but it does. And then you cheat everybody in your life.
We were talking about that.
And you both know you have a bad internal dialogue. Well, I want you to both listen to what my next guest says about herself. She refuses to have the wedding of her dreams. She refuses to walk down the aisle with the man of her dreams because she says she doesn't deserve it. And that's why I am so motivated to write this book and to change your life and every one of you. I want to give you the power to change all of this. We're going to meet her after the break, and you guys are going to listen with both ears.
friend and I went into a bridal store, and I was told that they don't carry anything as big as I am, and it just crushed all of my hopes in that moment. I don't feel worthy of Patrick's love.
Well, the holiday season is here, and all of you know what that means. Delicious food and weight gain. You know, you gain like 50, 60% of the weight you gain the entire year in the next few weeks. It also means that when this season ends, diet season begins. Well, my next guest, Kate, is no stranger to looking for a quick fix. But Kate is on a mission because she says she refuses, and in fact, she says she doesn't deserve to have a wedding ceremony to make her marriage official until she loses a few pounds. Take a look.
I refuse to have a wedding ceremony until I'm comfortable with my weight. I don't feel like I deserve the wedding of my dreams. A friend and I went into a bridal store, and I was told that they don't carry anything as big as I am, and it just crushed all of my hopes in that moment. And I broke down and cried. When I look in the mirror, it's hard to see any good in me. My face is too fat, my cheeks are too thick, my hips are too thick, my legs are too thick, my jeans don't fit. The heavier I am, tying your shoes gets harder. Going up and down the stairs is a struggle. I really feel my weight when I go to drive. The steering wheel comes down and it touches your thighs. I don't feel worthy of Patrick's love.
I love her very much. I see her for what's on the inside. She's perfect.
I feel consistently judged to the point that I don't go to family events. I don't want my husband getting any comments at work. He has a picture of me when we had first started dating, and his friend was like, "Oh, you mean Kate was actually hot at some point?"
We started planning her wedding, and she actually told me that she doesn't want to have a wedding if she doesn't lose the weight. I honestly cried that she wanted to cancel the wedding because she won't feel beautiful.
I'm desperate for Dr. Phill's help. I want to be everything that I always dreamed of. I'm not living up to what he deserves as the mother of his children. I want to feel like the mom that my kids deserve. They deserve a mom who can go out and play with them. I can't do that.
Okay, Kate, how'd you get this way?
Oh, goodness. Thank you. I had 2 really horrific pregnancies. We ate out a lot. I ended up on bed rest twice, and I gained 100 pounds on my first pregnancy and about 50 with my second.
Okay. Now, at this point, and you're okay if I say your height and weight, right? That's fine. You're 5'7" and 304 pounds.
Yep.
And you have a body mass index of 47.6, and obesity is 30 or greater. So you're morbidly obese. And Tess, you don't like what it's doing to her self-image because you love this girl, right?
Oh, yeah. She avoids going to places.
Doing anything, really.
And you say you can't stop eating.
If I feel sad, I eat. If I feel happy, I eat. If I feel nervous, I eat. And it's just very emotional issue.
So we ask you about your excuses for not having a ceremony, and I made a list of those too. I got blue cards like I do for them. So you don't deserve the ceremony. Your husband deserves better. You're not worthy of his love. Why did you say, I don't deserve the happiness that comes with being healthy?
Because I feel like, I don't know, I guess other people deserve more than I do.
If you're right, then what? You don't deserve a husband, you don't deserve happiness, you don't deserve, then what do we do?
I don't know. I really don't. I struggle with that a lot. And it puts me in a really, really hard place, especially with my kids and my husband.
If you have this negative internal dialogue, you know, you generate the results you believe you deserve. And, and you know that to be true, right?
Yeah. Thankfully, I have an incredible husband who tries very, very hard to push through that with me, but it's a really bad struggle.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with emotional and stress eaters. Emotional and stress eaters are 13 times more likely to be overweight or obese. And 80% of people list emotion or escape from emotion as their #1 trigger to eat.
That's me.
So that's kind of a vicious circle, right? How many people here eat emotionally? Raise your hand. See, you're not alone. See, it all comes together. You know, I said this is the second book I've written about weight management, and the other one was The Ultimate Weight Solution that I wrote like 10 years ago. And in it, I talk about the 7 keys to weight loss freedom. Look at number 1 and 2, right thinking and healing feelings. There's a simple thing here. People are not overweight because of eating. They're overweight because they abuse food. You just have to understand that there are different kinds of hunger, okay? There's physical hunger, mind hunger, and habit hunger. Physical hunger is when your body's saying, hey, come on, my stomach's barbecuing my ribs here. We need food. Blood sugar's going down. I need food. I need nourishment. We need energy. Mind hunger is when your head is saying, you know what, I'm upset. I need ice cream. It never rejects me. And habit hunger is when you eat situationally. It's like 5 o'clock, I get home from work. I always eat when I get home from work. If you did nothing but separate those 3 things out, you would be halfway home. I'm going to give you 20 foods for 20 days that are going to change the way you deal with food. But you've also got to get your thinking right. You got to get your mind right. We got to heal your feelings. Okay, we're going to talk about that. And in the meantime, be thinking about where and when you have heard somebody say something to you or about you that stuck with you. Plus, they each say they dropped their pounds and their excuses using a 20/20 diet. Can they inspire Kate to do the same? All of that and more when we come back.
When I was in elementary school, I was bullied a lot for my weight. Oh yeah, she's a fat cheerleader. When she steps on her box, it sinks into the ground. It made me feel like less of a person.
I feel great losing weight on the 20/20 diet. The biggest thing I've learned is portions and mixing certain foods so that you are actually letting your body fuel yourself.
Prior to this diet, I was a big stress eater. I was a chocoholic and loved sugar. Now I'm eating a lot healthier and cleaner, and I love it.
The plan garnered immediate results. I approach eating certainly in a more conscious manner now and actually enjoy my food more.
What was unique about this diet is I really never felt like I was starving because I could eat all of the foods. You just had to eat them in smaller amounts. But I never felt like I was really deprived or starving.
20/20 diet has changed my life.
I have much more energy. My confidence and self-esteem have boosted.
It's really given me the tools to make a lifestyle change that's healthy and beneficial for my whole family and myself.
I am proud of those results, and although all the pounds dropped and inches lost are great, it's the return to health for the 20/20 diet test group that has me most excited. And we're going to talk to a couple of those success stories in just a bit. But first, in order to get where you're going, it's critical to drop the negative baggage from where you've been. Now, no one needs to do that more than Kate. Take a look.
When I was in elementary school, I really kind of started to chunk up. I was bullied a lot for my weight. Being told I was fat when I was ugly. Oh yeah, she's a fat cheerleader. When she steps on her box, it sinks into the ground. It made me feel like less of a person. I lost friends because I didn't fit the mold of what everybody in the group looked like. I was too overweight to be friends with people. I think I use my weight as a shield to protect myself from getting hurt. It's a lot of years of emotional buildup.
Okay, you know, here's the thing. It's astounding how people can say things that stick with you and have such a lasting effect on how you feel about yourself. And we have what are called automatic thoughts. in our mind. You know what I mean by automatic thoughts? What?
They're the ones that just come up out of nowhere, the ones that have stuck with you, that give you how you sort of feel about yourself. They just come up.
Yeah. But what you don't know is how often they can come. Like you might hear a bully say something to you one time, and you might actually repeat that to yourself neurologically 10,000 times a day for your entire life, like a tape playing in your head over and over and over until it just indoctrinates you. And you've got to turn your ear inward and hear those things. And you think, why are you talking about this with a diet book? Because I don't want you to lose weight. I want you to lose weight and keep it off. I want you to lose weight and gain confidence. I want you to lose weight and gain wisdom. I want you to do this the right way one time so you get it off and keep it off. So you've got to do that. And so I've got to change your thinking. Do you think you can change this? Do you believe you can change this? With some help, do you think you can change this?
I think I can, yes.
Because you can. Earlier, you heard from the participants of the test group that followed every page of the 2020 diet. And I asked two of them to come here because I wanted you to meet some people that can do this. Cindy is here. Cindy lost 38 pounds and 27 inches. Where Cindy, stand up. This is Cindy. Now, and congratulations, by the way. Good job on doing that. And Jesse, stand up. Jesse here lost 46 pounds and 25 and a half total inches. Cindy, what was the trigger for you?
I mean, work stress. And, you know, how do you keep yourself from not being bored and just going eating more chocolate or those things?
All right, and this is a 3-phase program, by the way. Like there's phase 1, which is a 5-day phase, and there's 5 foods for 5 days. And then you go into phase 2, and you love phase 2. You said, I want to live in phase 2. Why do you like phase 2 so well?
I think those were all the foods I naturally tend to eat or I liked, and knowing how to put certain foods together so that it lasted longer and, you know, the right portions were all important tools I didn't have before.
Did you ever feel hungry?
No.
What surprised you the most about this? Because you made amazing change.
You got me all emotional. I guess it was just getting used to eating at roughly 4-hour intervals. And then also for me, it was a lot of judging, like sitting and thinking, am I hungry or am I bored?
Did you use the hunger fullness scale?
Yeah.
Did you actually do that?
Because I did. In the beginning,
I think that is really important. There's a hunger fullness scale. It starts at 1, where you're weak and unable to concentrate with a hunger headache, extremely hungry, stomach growling nonstop, all the way down to 10, so full, you're sick, nauseated, and miserable. And you've all been there. You've just eaten yourself sick. And the ideal range is to stay in here. You don't ever get in the extremes. And that's so important. And I love what you said about combinations, and I love what you said about flavors, because there are combinations so the foods stay with you and you do get the flavors that you want.
Well, but yeah, especially in phase 1, the portions were a lot smaller than I was accustomed to, but it forced me to actually chew the food and taste it and, you know, taste the flavors and that sort of thing, and it helped me a lot.
And isn't it nice to feel a sense of mastery? Where you feel in control. I mean, you know that, you control the food instead of the food controlling you. Yeah. Do you know how much your heart works every day?
No, tell me.
How many miles of vessels does your heart have to pump your blood every day? You're a school teacher. This is a test.
3.
Pardon me?
3.
3 miles a day?
I teach kindergarten. Give me a break. I teach 2 plus 2.
Yeah. Hey, what would you guess?
No, 8. I don't know.
8?
Good one.
The average person's heart pumps your blood through 60,000 miles of vessels a day. If you are significantly overweight, add an extra 18,000 miles a day of vessels. It means your heart's working 30% harder if you are significantly overweight. Pumps wear out, girls. I'm just saying. Next, in just 2 years, she went from competing in fitness competitions to running from being fit. We're going to meet her after the break and add her to this conversation. We'll be right back.
I feel like people look at me and think, what happened to that girl who used to be so fit and beautiful? I can't really look at the competition photos anymore. I have gained 60 pounds since the competition.
Our next guest, Nicole, says she's gone from one extreme to another when it comes to her struggles with weight. It was just a little over 2 years ago that she took extreme measures to get a body that her mother says left her unrecognizable.
When I got to college, I decided to sign up for a bodybuilding competition. I went from 140 pounds to 118 pounds and from 29% body fat to 9% body fat in 4 months. I worked out for 3 hours a day. My diet consisted of 900 calories, no sugar, no sodium, no fat, and no carbs. The last 3 days before the competition, I couldn't drink any water at all. My brain was shutting down without any liquids. When I got on stage, I had to put Vaseline on my teeth because my body was so depleted of water that I couldn't even smile. I placed 13th out of 65 girls. With the transformation that my body went through, I felt more confident because I finally had the body that I'd always wanted. My body's never been the same since I got off stage 2 years ago.
But now Nicole says that fit body is long gone, and sadly, she can't bear to look at photos of her former self.
I have gained 60 pounds since the competition. I can't really look at the competition photos anymore. I hate the person that I see in those photos.
My daughter Nicole right now is the heaviest that she's ever been.
I recently went to go see a plastic surgeon for a liposuction consultation. The plastic surgeon turned me away. I was extremely heartbroken. I hate showering because I'm reminded of all the fat that I have. I hate my thighs, hips, love handles, and stomach. It's all way too big. I feel like when I wear rings, my hands even look fat. I don't like putting on lotion either because that reminds me of all the fat that I have. I'm 22 years old and I'd love to be able to wear a size 4 again. I would love to be able to wear shorts again and feel confident in a dress. When I'm on campus, I just see all these really, really skinny, fit girls and I just feel so like a misfit.
You're so beautiful. You have so much going for you. It breaks my heart as a mom to see her so hard on herself because she has so much to offer.
I feel like people look at me and think, what happened to that girl who used to be so fit and beautiful?
What do you say to yourself now in the condition you're in now?
Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, like, still fat, still obese, I'm still gross.
You say you think when people see you, all they see is a fat girl.
Yeah, I feel extremely judged by a lot of people, particularly people that I became friends with after the show.
So what do you want?
I would just love to be lean and muscular again.
Because one of the things that I talk about in the 2020 diet, our bodies have what I call a set point.
Okay.
There's a point that you're supposed to go to that is your natural set point for your body in terms of what you will weigh in a normal, natural sort of way.
Yeah.
And if you get into that range, because let me tell you, all of you girls out there that say, I want to get back to what I weighed in high school, okay, we're talking amputation here. You have to be realistic in choosing what is your ideal body weight, what is right for you.
Yeah.
And then go to that place, be healthy in that place, accept yourself in that place, and live with it. Doesn't mean you can't look fabulous, doesn't mean that it can't, but you've got to be realistic about that. For you, I think you're flirting with what is called body dysmorphia. At your age and with your constitution, your ability to have a return to health and to get into a really good body mass index that would be a good set point for you and a healthy point for you is so attainable you're within weeks of being where you would be really, really happy and comfortable when, you know, someone like Kate looks at you and just wants to slap you.
Love it.
Don't you want to just slap her?
Love it.
I did ask a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, to come here because there's something that I would like to offer you to do. And this is Miles Adcock right here. And Miles is the CEO of the Onsite program. And Onsite is on a beautiful ranch outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I want to do some things with you to help you get your body under control. But at some point, I would like to offer you to take a couple of weeks and really go involve yourself in one of the workshops that Miles and his therapeutic team put together to really help you hit the reset button on all of this so you don't stay obsessed with this, you don't get into body dysmorphia, and you don't lapse into some type of eating disorder, because I think that would be really great. And Miles, you guys could really help her with this, could you not?
100%. And where we come in is drilling down on the first two of those 7 as part of the 2020 curriculum, the mind and the feelings. And we want to help you get a jump start on that.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I think it would be great. Listen, 2020 Diet is not a crash program. It's 20 foods for 20 days. And it's 3 phases. And, you know, that's what these guys were talking about. While you're doing it, you're working through the book on the things of healing the feelings, the right thinking, cleaning up your environment. And these things, little things, it seems, like the 7 keys, I brought everything over from the book I did 10 years ago, like impulse eating. You got to clean up your environment, but there's got to be good things there to eat. People that get hungry eat. So you have to have something there to eat. You need to eat. Yeah. It's not good to be starving. Don't starve yourselves. It doesn't work. You'll rebel. We did a national survey as part of this to figure out why diets fail. And I addressed every single point in this book, why diets fail, and came up with a strategy to attack that. And it's all right there for you. And so I want you to do that, then I want you to do this. Fair enough? Definitely. All right, next. Getting started on a weight loss journey can be tough, so I got some words of encouragement and a few surprises up my sleeve. We'll be right back. I believe we can create moments in time in which all things wrong can be made right. All of my guests today are starting on my 2020 diet today, and we're going to be checking in with them periodically to see their progress. And believe you me, you are going to see progress. You are going to see progress. Progress, 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 progress. You are going to see progress. Because a lot of the 2020 foods can be made into smoothies. I want you guys that are going to start on this to have a Nutri Ninja and Ninja Blender. The Ninja Blender Duo has tons of power and can crush through ice and whole foods in no time and maintains all the nutrition, okay? The Auto IQ T technology remembers how you like your shake, so with the push of the button, it'll blend it the way you like it every time. And so you can keep track of your fitness. I want all of you to have a Polar Loop activity tracker, which is worn on your wrist, and it tracks your activity 24/7. From sleeping to running, it knows what you're doing, and so will I. And it provides guidance and motivation to reach your activity goals. The 2020 diet is not about the numbers, but so you can keep track of your progress. I want everyone to have a Taylor Smart Scale. It not only measures your weight, but also estimates body fat, water percentages, and muscle mass. I'm going to give that to you four and everybody in the audience. Okay? All right, now let's talk about this book. It is the 2020 Diet, and this is available at the Book Nook, which is my book company. It's published by Bird Street Books, which is my son's publishing company, and it's available today at thebooknook.com. And I want everybody in the audience to have a copy, so you're all going home with one of these. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Miles Adcock. Thanks so long. We'll see you next time.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Former Mother of the Year is accused of soliciting the rape of a woman.
She was outbid on her dream home.
They got the house you wanted, so you want them to suffer.
Yes, by hurting someone else, you feel better.
You put this on Craigslist with her address. Come to my home while my husband's gone. We'll get our freak on.
It became fun because I was anonymous.
You weren't anonymous. You were an alter ego for this innocent woman, and you sent a man to her door.
I did not view the danger.
If you didn't want her to get attacked, why did you post, "Take me even if I say no"?
Mother of the Year turned stalker. A Dr. Phil exclusive starts now.
Carmel Valley is a beautiful, affluent community in sunny San Diego. Known for its large houses and award-winning schools, it's the kind of neighborhood where people dream of raising a family. Kathy Rowe was one of those people, and in 2011, she fell in love with a home that she believed was perfect for her family. It had everything she wanted: space, a single story, and a sparkling pool. But Kathy's dream home was also someone else's, and she was outbid by another couple. That is where this story should have ended, but instead, it was the beginning of a nightmare for a young couple who thought they were getting a fairy tale home. Kathy Rowe embarked on a year-long reign of terror that ranged from sending thousands of dollars of magazines and adult diapers to the couple's house, to posing as the young wife online and arranging for men to show up at their home for sex.
Former Mother of the Year is accused of soliciting the rape of a woman after the victim and her husband bought a Carmel Valley home that she wanted to buy.
This is a very unique and in many ways disturbing case. Her deal began in September of 2011. Jerry and Janice outbid Rowe on this Carmel Valley home. Upset and hoping to scare them into giving up the house, took out an ad on Craigslist pretending to be Janice. She titled it Carmel Valley Freak Show and encouraged men to come to her home unannounced and have sex with her, even if she said no.
The characterization of her email correspondence with several men asking them to come rape my wife as a childish prank is absurd.
Rowe also did things like send unsolicited mail to the home, as well as send Valentine's Day cards to female neighbors pretending to be Jerry.
Kathy Rowe first denied any involvement with these online posts when authorities tracked her internet address, but later she confessed and said it was all a prank.
Rowe pleaded guilty to felony stalking after prosecutors say she placed an online ad inviting men to rape a woman who bought the house that she wanted. The former Mother of the Year was sentenced today to a year of electronic home surveillance and 5 years probation.
Rowe told detectives the ad was a prank and that she didn't intend to do any harm.
Rowe's attorney says his client has PTSD as a result of having to care for her disabled daughter and sick husband. The victims shared some words of their own, telling the court their lives will never be the same.
I was diagnosed with PTSD and needed the assistance of anti-anxiety medication to help me cope with the stress.
I felt most secure away from my home. The house became my prison.
They say they still live in fear.
Last year, Kathy Rowe pled guilty to a felony stalking charge. In exchange for her plea, prosecutors dismissed felony charges of solicitation for rape and misdemeanor charges of identity theft and making annoying or threatening communication. So she was sentenced to a year of home electronic surveillance, 5 years of probation, and ordered to stay away from the couple for 10 years. Today, in a daytime exclusive, Kathy Rowe takes us inside her world and reveals what she claims pushed this one-time Mother of the Year over the edge. In fall of 11, there's this house, and there are 7 bidders on this house. It's a popular house. A lot of people are after this house. You place a bid on the house, but at the time that you place the bid, your actual realtor's out of town. So her partner is one you have to deal with that you don't really have a rapport with.
Correct.
And you later learn that this other couple also places a bid on the house. They win the bid.
Correct.
And their bid was better than yours, right? The money was quicker.
It was the same amount of money, but the terms were better.
Yeah,
Yes.
shorter term.
Correct.
They got the money sooner. So they win the bid on the house. And you don't even know that. You have to call and find out.
Well, I saw that the house was being termite inspected, so I called to find out, why am I seeing new owners and an inspection company there? I think the lack of communication made it more traumatic because I didn't have that rapport, that ability to get the person on the phone and talk to them. And then it also made it hard to find out that we lost it. And then when my realtor came back into town, she viewed it as not a big deal. She was sort of like, well, if it were meant to be, it would have happened, so we'll have to move on and find a different house. Not recognizing the trauma that we viewed it as.
Yeah, and in fact, you said, we just couldn't move on. They kind of offhandedly said, oh, you just didn't win it, you know, you just didn't get the bid, like, no big deal. But it was a big deal to you.
Yes.
You're married, right?
Yes.
And you have children.
One child.
You have one daughter, and I understand that she suffers from a syndrome that she was born with, correct?
Correct, a genetic syndrome. Williams syndrome?
This is a syndrome that affects a lot of different functions within the body. There are developmental delays, it has intellectual impact, there are different kinds of physical impairments. This is a very pervasive syndrome that makes it very demanding on a caregiver across time, right?
Yes.
In fact, that was one of the reasons it was so important for you to find a one-story home.
Yes. She has medical issues, but she also has behavioral issues. She's like a 5-year-old, I would say. So it's difficult to get her to cooperate and do things. And we lived in a 2-story home, so it was very difficult to get her to go upstairs. So yes, a 1-story home would be so much easier.
And she is how old now?
She is 16.
How old was she in 2007?
9.
Okay. In 2006, you're one of San Diego's Mothers of the Year.
One of the 50 best in San Diego.
In San Diego.
Yes.
Fast forward, if you will, now to the fall of 2011. There's a particular home in a subdivision that you want, and it's 1 story. That's important to you because of your daughter.
Correct.
And there's not a lot of 1-story homes, right?
Not in
There's
this
some,
area.
but not a lot.
And they have to be in a particular school district.
Right.
And my husband, he also has medical issues. And so there were some things that we wanted to get to accommodate him as well.
And his medical issues are?
He had a massive heart attack in 2010. And he was becoming sicker and sicker during the time that this happened. It was hard for him to go up and down stairs.
So you've got the problems with your daughter. She's getting bigger, more difficult to manage. Now your husband, he's had the massive heart attack, has a reasonable recovery, but now he's beginning to fade.
There were so many things needing my help and my attention. I just became exhausted. I was working full time and then doing my husband's work at night and dealing with my daughter, had very severe school issues. And then my best friend became sick and her disabled son needed care. So I was literally like running myself ragged and trying to exist on 2 hours sleep. And it unfortunately affected my thinking. I thought I could cope with it and deal with it. And I didn't realize how poorly I was dealing with it until all of this happened.
You said, one of your quotes was, "We just couldn't move on." Why? I mean, it's a big neighborhood, a lot of houses. There are other houses in the neighborhood. There are other one-story houses in the neighborhood. Why couldn't you just find another house?
A couple of reasons. One, we had looked at like 100 homes, and this was unique. It was a former model home. It was the only floor plan in our whole community that had certain room layouts and certain features that we wanted. And then the first day it came on the market, we went and saw it. Everything was perfect. Everything all lined up, and it was exactly what we wanted.
But this wasn't just another house.
It wasn't, and it also my mindset at the time, I wasn't thinking very clearly. I was very sleep deprived. I was very stressed out. The other difficult thing about losing the house was that we then had to live in an apartment, which is very difficult with my daughter. That became stressful, and my husband was just miserable not living in a house. And so he would walk around going, "Oh, if we just got in that house."
Was this your dream house?
It was my dream house. The minute I walked in, it felt comfortable. I fell in love with it the moment I stepped foot into it.
All right, so you don't get your dream house for whatever reason. You wind up in an apartment. Things are not going well. That seemed to be a domino that started clicking things in a negative way. Why couldn't you let it go?
The emotions of being so upset and so angry at losing it, and angry with myself because I was the one interfacing with the realtor. I felt guilty, I felt angry at myself. I felt like I'd caused all these negative things to happen to our family. Those emotions were so strong that caused me to continue to focus on the house and eventually the homeowners.
You didn't know these people.
Not at all.
I really want you to travel back in time to the moment that you decided to do the first thing you did that wound up getting you in trouble.
Okay.
And what was that first thing?
Coming up.
You send Valentine's cards to each of the wives from the husband that say, "Thinking of you."
Correct.
You made a flyer for the local high school kids to advertise a New Year's party at their house.
This has been misunderstood.
We now return to Mother of the Year turned stalker, a Dr. Phill exclusive.
I really want you to travel back in time to the moment that you decided to do the first thing you did that wound up getting you in trouble.
Okay.
And what was that first thing?
Posting their house for sale on Zillow, I believe was the first thing.
Okay, so that's what you call Act One. Take me through that moment.
You would have to just feel so overwhelmed by things that you had to do, almost like panicky. You feel horrible and angry towards yourself. You're full of guilt and jealousy and all these emotions. It was sort of a way for me to, it's a horrible thing to say, that by hurting someone else, it makes you feel better. It's a very childish, immature, mean thing to say. But that, I think, is the bottom line of what happened.
I'm not asking you to analyze it. I'm asking you to take me through that moment at the time. Were you at your computer? Did you just on your computer?
Probably, yeah.
Well, no, probably. You either were or you weren't.
Yeah, I was hooked up to my computer pretty much 20 hours a day.
So you were at your computer. And what did you say to yourself? Did you say, "I'm going to get them, I'm going to do," what did you say?
This has been misunderstood. This has been a really difficult thing to explain, because at the time, what I would say to myself is, wouldn't it be funny to do this? I guess it would help to explain when I was younger, like preteen, teenager, we used to do pranks to each other. That was a common thing among my friends. And when I was doing these, In my mind, they were the same thing. They weren't really the same thing, they were harmful, but my thinking at the time was so messed up that I viewed them as funny, not harmful.
So that seems really incongruous to me, because you just said, I'm up 20 hours, I'm totally overwhelmed, I'm just a zombie sitting there, but I've got this great sense of humor and I'm going to play this prank on these people because I think it's funny.
It was sort of a release, a pressure. They didn't try to harm me, they didn't mean to harm me, but them getting the house did harm me. You know, it's a little bit of payback. So it would make the pain less. I knew that the acts would cause embarrassment, annoy them.
You said that in a way you thought it felt like I could have a second chance at my dream home if it was back on the market.
I didn't really think it would come back on the market. I wasn't doing these things to try to drive them out of the house. It was more annoying and embarrassing them with the neighborhood. That was really more the driving force. It wasn't that I thought I would get the house, and in fact, we already owned a home. So if it come up on market, I couldn't have purchased it anyway. Right. So,
but did it make you feel a little better?
It was more the feeling that I'm going through so much pain, so if I cause someone else a little bit of pain, it equalizes it or helps me feel better.
Well, you know, the old saying, misery loves company, right?
It's a horrible emotion.
Looking back, you say that was not a good thing to do. I kid.
No.
And what you said, I have it in quotes, I felt like I could get it, like I had a second chance at my dream home. It is really stupid now looking back at it. That's exactly verbatim what you said.
I know, okay. It was seeing the ads on Zillow. Yeah. That's what it was seeing it in writing for sale. It wasn't that I thought they would actually sell it. It was more emotionally seeing it for sale again. I could pretend like it was available.
Then you started sending magazines like Home and Garden and Cooking and magazines for incontinence and medical supplies. And what was the point of that?
To annoy them.
Just annoyance? Yeah,
having people come to their door or having things come to their house that
they got thousands of dollars worth of invoices.
Correct. And I did reimburse them for all of the expenses, but it was certainly a pain in the neck calling up and canceling all these magazines. That created a tremendous amount of work for them.
You said it was funny to me, not malicious. You said it was just funny. Is that kind of evil funny?
Yeah, now I would say it's evil funny. It's not the way I normally think. I'm not a revenge type person. You
said you saw it as annoying and funny, but not hurtful. I mean,
not hurtful in the sense that they would be attacked in their home or injured or raped. Not that kind of harmful.
You stopped their mail at Christmas time.
Correct.
You made a flyer for the local high school kids to advertise a New Year's party at their house.
Actually, it was on Craigslist as a local event.
It said something like live band and keg party for the high school?
For the one local, yes, the local high school in our area.
We're now into like the fifth thing you've done. Now jumped into February, Valentine's Day. You send Valentine's cards to 6 other homes on the cul-de-sac to each of the wives from the husband that say, thinking of you.
Correct.
And then his initials. What was the end game there?
I now see it's to sort of poison their relationship. They were new to the neighborhood. The neighbors don't know them. I can see now that those activities with the neighbors, sending them magazines, the Valentines, posting things, was really sort of to poison their relationship, where their new neighbors would think, gosh, these are weird people or wild people, or we don't really want to get to know them. That's, I think, the bottom line of what my actions would have done.
So to be alienated, maybe move away?
And not so much to move away. It hurt me that they had purchased the house, moved in, and now they were going to be accepted in the neighborhood.
It wasn't because you wanted them to move out so you could buy the house.
No.
You just wanted them to suffer. They got the house you wanted, so you want them to be miserable. You want them to be alienated from their neighbors and not be happy in your dream home.
Yeah, now I realize that's what I was doing. Yes, absolutely.
You went on Craigslist and it said, see me any day when my husband is not home, we can put our freak on. You were soliciting people to come to her home to rape her.
Mother of the Year turned stalker. A Dr. Phill daytime exclusive continues.
A former Mother of the Year recipient pleaded guilty to felony stalking charges. According to prosecutors, 53-year-old Kathy Rowe placed an ad online inviting men to come to a woman's home in Carmel Valley and rape her. Rowe was apparently upset that the woman and her husband bought a house that Rowe wanted. She told detectives the ad was a prank and that she didn't intend to do any harm.
You sent out a flyer to the neighbor. A sex offender had recently moved into the area. You wanted the neighbors to think, who is the wild couple? They are potentially sex offenders?
Yes, it had said that one had moved in, and certainly the neighbors, because they've lived there a long time, would assume that it was this couple. So again, it's poisoning the relationship with the new neighbors. These are horrible, horrible, immature, awful things to do, but that is what I did.
Did you watch them to see how they reacted?
No.
You didn't drive by to see if there were a bunch of magazines on the porch?
Oh, no.
You didn't drive by to see if people were knocking on their doors or anything?
No.
Did you watch this family?
No.
You sent religious missionaries to their home, like Mormons and what, Jehovah's Witnesses types, or you sent people to door knock them?
Yeah, I signed up for 2 websites. I can't remember. One was Mormon, that you could have somebody come visit to you.
You went on Craigslist under Carmel Valley Community Activities, under the Carmel Valley Freak Show, and it said something like, see me any day when my husband is not home, we can put our freak on. And you ultimately got charged with solicitation of rape.
Correct.
The allegation was that you were soliciting people to come to her home to rape her in a role play situation while she said no.
Right. That was not my intention, but that is how the district attorney's office viewed it. It was a big lesson, especially with the internet and computers. What you may think you're doing can be viewed very differently by other people. So they couldn't get in my head and know what I was trying to do, what I was thinking. It was, again, one of those embarrassing things for the neighborhood that they would think they were wild. That was really the intention of that.
But you put this up with her address.
Correct.
Contact me, come to my home while my husband's gone, we'll get our freak on, and put up her address.
Correct. I was thinking that the neighbors would see the ad, and I did not view the danger in posting the address, but at the time my thinking was so messed up that I would just sort of focus on this part of the action and not realize all these other things could occur as well.
And you got responses.
Correct.
And you gave information to one of these men.
Coming up.
It became fun emailing back and forth with these guys because I was anonymous.
You weren't anonymous, you were an alter ego for this
right.
innocent woman in this house, and you
Right.
sent a man to her door.
We now return to Mother of the Year turned stalker, a Dr. Phill exclusive.
This woman, she was voted Mother of the Year. Her heart is set on buying a dream home. She bids. She gets outbid. And what does she do, according to police? She goes online and she orders a hit, and she orders a rape of the woman that outbid her for the dream home. Now, I want you to listen to some of the ads. I love to be surprised and have a man just show up at my door and force his way in the door and force himself on me, totally taking me, while I scream no. She's talking to these men online. She says, come by any Monday, Friday, 9 to 3. I like the element of surprise.
You gave information to one of these men.
One, yes.
You gave a picture.
Yes.
So it wasn't just for the neighbors to see it. Mm-hmm. You just post it. That doesn't make sense. You post it, they see it, they think, oh, weird couple here. But you got a response, and some guy you say looked like Mr. Rogers, he had on a sweater, so you thought, okay, he looks okay. So you answer him, you give him the picture.
Correct.
You egg him on to come to the house. So that wasn't for the neighbors.
No,
that was to
wasn't.
get somebody to her front door that you don't know anything about.
It was more...
Have you ever seen Gacy? Have you ever seen Dahmer? Have you ever seen these guys? They look a lot more like
Right.
Mr. Rogers than they do the Incredible Hulk.
No, it was an incredibly stupid and cruel and could have potentially been horribly dangerous. I understand that.
You didn't give this guy the picture for the neighbors.
No.
You didn't get him to go to the door for the neighbors. You got him to go to the door for her.
Correct. It was the Craigslist ad that was for the neighbors. I had done that in April, and I did that again in June. In April, I never got any kind of responses. I wasn't expecting to in June. When I got the emails, that was unexpected, and then it became sort of fun emailing back and forth with these guys because I was anonymous.
You weren't anonymous. You were an alter ego for this
right.
innocent woman in this house, and you
Right.
sent a man to her door.
Right. I totally accept responsibility. That is what I did. At the time, my communication with them was not so much dealing with her. It was really focusing on the conversation with the men, having fun, telling them all kinds of ridiculous things.
Ridiculous things like, I think
Correct.
you said, I think I said something in our correspondence like, quote, I like it when men come through the door, take me even if I say no.
Correct.
Is that not predicate to rape?
Coming up.
If you didn't want her to get attacked, you wouldn't have sent a man to her door with the instruction, I like it when they keep going when I say no.
Correct. If I had wanted her raped, I would have kept talking to him. When he asked for the address, I would have given him the address.
If you didn't want her raped, you wouldn't have written those words.
Mother of the Year turned stalker. A Dr. Phill daytime exclusive continues.
You said, I like it when they come through the door and take me even if I say no. Is that not predicate to rape?
Sitting here today, absolutely.
That has nothing to do with the neighbors. That has to do
No.
with getting that woman raped.
That was not my intention. My intention is to keep describing weirder and weirder things, seeing what their reaction was, seeing if they would figure out that I was not who I said I was. I've never sexted or whatever you call it. This is the first time that I've ever written these types of emails, and I think because it wasn't my name out there, it gave me sort of the ability to do it without them knowing who I was. It was sort of a safety feature for me, but unfortunately that became an unsafety feature for her. So when I was emailing back and forth with the guys, it was not like this diabolical thing of, oh, I can get her hurt. It was more really enjoying the back and forth of the emails with the men. Every other comment and email after that was all about consensual acts. And in fact, the man that I wrote that line to made me nervous. When he sent his picture, he didn't seem like fun and funny and somebody who could take a joke. He just didn't look like that, a good-natured kind of person. And so I stopped communicating with him. If I had wanted her to get attacked, I would have kept talking to him. I would have focused my communications on non-consensual activities. I would have picked the more dangerous guy to communicate with. So it was not to create danger with her.
If you didn't want her to get attacked, you wouldn't have sent a man to her door with the instruction, I like it when they keep going when I say no.
Well, I actually did not send him to the door. He sent the photo. It made me very nervous, what he looked like in his photo. And he asked for the address, and I refused to give it to him, and I cut off communications with him.
Let me ask you about this.
Sure.
I'm pretty much home all day, every day, bored and incredibly horny. I love to be surprised and have a man just show up at the door and force his way in the door and on me, totally taking me while I say no.
Janice, what is the person who is writing this trying to do to you?
She wanted me raped.
This is my wife they're talking about. There's no mistaking the intent there.
Okay, how can they view that any other way? You've communicated that to someone. You've said, I'm home, I love to be surprised, I want somebody to take me while I say no. You have set the parameters. You've said sex game. Only difference is he ain't coming to your house.
Correct.
You didn't say come to my house. You gave her address.
Correct.
You just didn't tell her he's coming. But he came.
Yes, he did. Not that man, but another man, the man that looked like Mr. Rogers. I totally understand that that is how they view it. And if the shoes were on the other foot, I could totally see if someone wrote that about me, that would be my interpretation. The whole series of emails are describing more and more bizarre, disgusting things. And when they would come back and say, oh, I don't like that, then I would focus on those even more, trying to make them uncomfortable. See what point are they going to stop communicating with me.
Those were your words, right?
But if
you wrote those words.
Correct. If I had wanted her raped, I would have kept talking to him. When he asked for the address, I would have given him the address.
But if you didn't want her raped, you wouldn't have written those words.
At the time, 50 Shades of Grey was very popular. It was more role-playing.
But it wasn't about you. It was about an innocent woman that didn't know she was being talked about.
Coming up.
You're saying, I'm sleep deprived. I don't have enough time. I'm barely getting 2 hours of sleep a night, but you've got time to be ordering magazines and setting up Craigslist and having sex talk. It just doesn't make common sense.
We now return to Mother of the Year turned stalker, a Dr. Phill exclusive.
I believe that Miss Rowe continues to be a dangerous person because of her skills of manipulation and her ability to lie.
You know, I kind of think she has more of a reason now to attack us.
I'd like to comment on that.
Please.
One, I'm not manipulative. Two, I have been very, very honest with the district attorney and everyone. In fact, we scheduled a special meeting with them. I came and gave them all kinds of information, told them, yes, I did these things. I've been very, very honest and trying to take responsibility for my actions. As soon as I started to sleep, which was in early July 2012, like within a week of doing that, I stopped these actions because I had more ability to see what they were doing, what their impact was.
I've often said, if I wanted to make somebody just really psychotic and I could control one thing, it would be sleep.
I think there are a lot of people who lose a night of sleep here or there and they feel tired the next day, they get better sleep for a few days and then they're fine. But chronic sleep deprivation is really an entirely different phenomenon. It's when we're shorting sleep by half or more every night for a long, long period of time. We see, lapses in judgment, we see poor memory, poor concentration. Like in Kathy's situation, the brain actually starts to function less and less.
Jerry and Janice would never forget the jolt of fear they felt as a cop gave it to them straight.
He said whoever was doing it was probably pretty sick. They were probably watching, and that sent chills down my back.
I was not, in fact, watching. I never did anything to their home. I never sat outside their home. I never sent them something weird in the mail. I never did anything that's considered traditional stalker actions. I did not do that.
If this is because you are burning the candle at both ends, if this because you are 20 hours a day trying to cover for your husband, trying to fill the void for him, taking care of your daughter, going through all of the work, everything, no time to sleep, no energy left, no ability to keep everything going, you don't have time to do what you're doing, and now you're spinning this web around innocent people that don't know it. It just doesn't make sense. You're saying, I'm sleep deprived, I don't have enough time, I'm barely getting 2 hours of sleep a night, but you've got time to be ordering magazines and setting up Craigslist and having sex talk with people on the internet. It just doesn't make common sense.
It would take, like, let's say 15 minutes or something. If you look at the emails, they're all pretty quick. They're not like novels. And I would sort of take a mental vacation and focus on this for a while and then come back to the work that I was on.
And what you want people to know is that you are sorry.
Oh.
That you're not some sociopath that has no empathy for these people, no remorse.
I would say devastated is the word by my behavior. I had to go into therapy because I felt like the lowest form of life and like I didn't deserve to be here anymore. I was very suicidal. I couldn't deal well with what I had done and also to all these other innocent people because my behavior didn't just affect them. It had an impact on a lot of other people in my life.
And you've been forthcoming with law enforcement, cooperated, you've helped in every way that you can. You're wearing a monitoring device now because you're on house arrest.
Correct.
If these people got transferred and they moved off to Bangor, Maine, and that house went on the market today, would you buy it? If that house went on the market today, would you buy it?
No, because we bought our own house and we've settled into it.
It's your dream house.
I mean, it hurts. I will always look at that house as what could have been. That when we were there, we should have made an offer and gotten it. So it's viewing it as something that I really screwed up.
If that couple is watching this right now, what do you want them to know?
Well, I've tried for 3 years to tell them how sorry I am. I wrote them a very long letter of apology. It was 3 pages long, and I wanted to explain to them what happened, why, and that I now understood what I had done was wrong, that they didn't have to worry about me doing anything else towards them. Also, my attorney on my behalf went to the district attorney to find out what things could I do to make amends to them. And the only thing they would allow us to do was reimburse them for all their out-of-pocket expense. So I did that. I wouldn't drive in their track. I wouldn't shop in our local area because I didn't want to run into them. I tried to do what I could to make amends, knowing that no matter what I did, it would be this much amends, and this was the nightmare I caused them. I'm actually a very nice person who did really horrible things.
The good thing about behaviors is they have a beginning and an end. You can stop doing behaviors.
Yeah.
And you stop doing it at this point. So
I did long ago. It's the repercussions will never stop. Those will be forever.
Kathy is someone that you predict a good and productive life from going forward, right?
If she's able to stay grounded in the fact that, you know, people make mistakes, and her mistake was lack of self-care that ended up in, you know, real harm. You know, she was not taking care of herself before this happened. She was taking care of everybody else. And I think she finally does understand life is about balance. This is not about her being a bad person. This is about her making, you know, extremely poor judgment calls. And I think if she can get through that piece, honestly, I'd predict a better Kathy.
I've always said you can't give away what you don't have, so you gotta do it. All right, Dr. Breslin, thank you so much for this.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you letting us talk to her because I think it's a great teaching tool, and I appreciate your insights into how you think she got in this situation.
My pleasure.
For all of you mothers out there that are burning the candle at both ends, you can take a lesson, maybe tear a page from Kathy Rowe's book. Does sleep deprivation explain all of this story? Maybe, maybe not. But decision making is something that you have to own the consequences of. And for sure, we know that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And we certainly know that when you choose the behavior, you do choose the consequences. For more information about this and the warning signs that you may be getting exhausted, go to drphill.com. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.